You're in the cupboard. I have a pot of pineapple. I really need to sneeze. Oh! What's that, buddy? That was buddy and fella at the same time. So, buffer. Do you have a wee? I swear you just had a wee. Or do you need something else? I apologise for that brief intermission. What do I need this for? We are doing something. There he is. There's the fella. I am doing something that I found online on Good Food. I might come organised. I will link it down below. It is a tomato and orzo one pot pasta thing. So orzo, I just really fancied orzo. Oh, buddy! No, you can't have any treats, darling. You haven't really done anything to earn them. I know. I'm a terrible dog mum. Can we go out? We can go out, buddy. I'm just not going to go with you. So if you're unaware, orzo is pasta that's kind of rice-like. I really like it. I just really fancied it. I don't know why. I have a good craving for it. I need to get some more of that. Have some more pineapple. It's good for inflammation. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. Not that I have any inflammation. The ingredients are orzo, some fresh tomatoes chopped, or you can use, I think, a jar of chopped tomatoes. I'm halving the recipe. Red onion, garlic. It says parmesan, but I've also got some cheddar for good measure. I've got here sort of lines, and I've got some. It doesn't say spinach, but I just thought I'd chuck it in because I've got it. You know, extra veggies. It says 1 chilli. I don't have any chilli, but I do have some. At the time, I didn't have chilli flakes, and I needed to replace my chilli flakes, so I bought crushed chillies instead. So I'll chuck in a little bit of that. It says parsley. I'm going to stop buying parsley because I find it pointless. I also want some vegetable stock. Oh, I might make a cup of tea. How much does it take to boil a kettle? No! 6p! It's gone from 4p to 6p. Oh my word. So if I have 5 cups a day, that's 30p. I'm going to have to start, I'm going to get a flask, get a bigger flask. How much is this one? Frank, if you've gone upstairs, darling, You can't come back down unless someone comes to get you. And by someone I mean me. Because I make all my meals from scratch, everything, you know, pies, everything, the whole kit caboodle. And I'll make the pastry. Very rarely I will buy pastry, and when I do I feel like I'm cheating, because all you need to make pastry is flour, butter and a little bit of water, and it doesn't take that long, and it doesn't take a lot of skill either. Puff pastry I will buy, but seems I've spent 6p on the kettle, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, so that when I finish my cup of tea I'll have a cup of coffee. That's going to make a very expensive winter. I have blooming chain cups of tea. I need a bigger flask. That flask only fits 1.5 cups. And I don't like tea out of metal containers. I don't like tea when it's made of water that's in a metal container. So basically I'm going to drink solely coffee. Can't believe that. 6p. Criminal. So high. Frankie, we're not going upstairs, are we? We're staying downstairs. Hi. I've just been cutting onions if I look like I'm upset. So this morning, woke up at woke up at 4:10. I started work at 5, so I've done a day's work, came back, I had the beginnings of a migraine, my wisdom teeth were hurting, so I went and had a 3.5 hour nap. Set an alarm for 1 hour, but 3.5 hours later I got up. And now I'm ready for round 2. But in about an hour's time I will just start to wilt again. I've now found out it cost me 6p to boil a kettle. So, because our new tariff starts today. Isn't that fun? Cost of living crisis. Good thing my job, I should be taking more hours on at the end of the month, thank God, because I don't think I'd survive otherwise. I'm just cooking dinner. You'll see me prepare some of it. Do you want my tea or coffee first? Tea, I suppose. Oh, I put the milk away. I'm going to ignore you, Bubba. You're too mouthy. Yeah, so I've made myself, I don't mind coffee sort of room temperature, so I've made myself a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, so I can drink the tea and then drink the coffee. And I might have to get my flask back into action. I did it through the winter because I was drinking hot drinks one after the other because this house is blooming cold. And I couldn't afford it last year, and I can't be able to afford it this year. I'm in the same position with higher bills. Isn't life great at the moment? Aren't we just the happiest we've ever been? What is up with you today? Is it? I know I haven't taken you for a walk. That's because I have to have a nap, sweetie. Stir in tomatoes. What am I doing to the tomatoes? Chopping them. I've got 3. Oh, that leaves 1 in the fridge. Why don't I just use that one? I don't mind having slightly extra tomato. Orzo. Have I deseeded them? No. Have I skinned them? No. Have I taken the stalk out? No. Is my chef boyfriend going to complain? Yes. Yes, he is. Are we going to listen to him? No, we're going to completely ignore him. Because he should just be grateful that he has food in his belly. Because by the looks of it, we won't be able to afford any more. No, I need to do, I think I started talking about this, but I think I got distracted. Story of my life. Sort of recycling out. Actually, let me do it after I got all this sort of stuff out. What was I going to say? Yeah. So I like to make everything from scratch because I am that kind of person and I have the time for it. So why not? And I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy cooking. But I think I'm going to start looking at slightly less intensive recipes that use perhaps fewer ingredients. Oh, he's gone back upstairs. He can't come downstairs. He can't walk downstairs. This is good food, and I think good food is a good way to go for that sort of thing. I've got loads of good food recipes ripped out of magazines up on the shelf, so I can work my way through them. But I think I put too much pressure on myself, and every so often I'm like, I really need to take, you know, a break from cooking because I do too much. And I think, oh, I'll buy a pie or something, and then I look at how expensive stuff is, and I'm like, oh, that's one meal. Like I could make a pie for that, and I'll make enough to feed us 2 nights, one in the freezer to feed us another 2 nights later down the line. Like, yeah, it might be cheaper just for that one meal, but what about the other 8 that I want from that fiver, please, or whatever it is, I don't know. And mine will be nicer. Still. So, yeah. At least in the winter I'll be having soup, and soup is like just a wonderfully cheap meal, isn't it? I love it. Until softened but not golden. Yeah, we're getting there. So I think this is a good way to go, because also we have found, because I make fresh everything, when we do have something that is naughty, something that is processed and pre-made, no offence to people that do that, like, you do that, you do what works for you. If I had 4 kids, I probably would, because I wouldn't have time, because I'd be running them here, there and everywhere. But at the moment I have a puppy, and that's only recently, you know. A year ago, well, a month ago, I didn't. But what was I saying? God knows, nothing interesting probably. yeah, when we do eat processed food, I personally feel gross. It makes my stomach ache, not ache, just feel uncomfortable, a bit bloated, and it feels, if I have something like greasy, so anything, quite a lot of times it has chips, because chips can be quite oily, quite greasy. Although it's nice to have something like that every so often, like fish and chips by the sea or something else, and it has to be by the sea, otherwise what's the point? But I have like kebab shop like chips. No, I'm too old for that now. My body's not used to it, and because I have been poor for some years. This is editing Oddknits of the future. This ended at the point that my boyfriend came home from work, so I turned the camera off and spoke to him, if that's alright with you. I hadn't seen him for like 3 days, so I thought I'd better. I'm just as tired as I was then. Nothing's changed. The dinner was nice. I put too much chilli in it. There you go. You live, you learn. I think next time I just won't bother with any. I think it would have been nice just without it. I mean, it doesn't take much chilli for it to be too much for me. But, yeah, I recommend it. It was really nice. And, although the recipe was for 4, so I halved it. So it should have been for 2. But for some reason, I still cut up a whole onion and not half of an onion. And I was spinach in it and an extra tomato, and it managed to do us both lunches for the next day as well. So, not bad. Yeah, definitely do it again. I've written it in my little book of quick meals. And then thinking about it, if I've always got Orzo in the cupboard and a tin of chopped tomatoes, that would do. Or, I don't know, it's quite easy to pick up just some tomatoes. It's just something that can always be done because it's just cheesy tomato pasta. Yay! There you go. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video, which hopefully is a little bit better.